Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I am Diamond. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. Today is going to be a sit down video, and it is going to be a very transparent video. As you can read by the title, it's about how to overcome. I don't know if I want to title this video, it'll be already titled by now, but I don't know if I want to talk specifically on social anxiety or being an introvert. I feel like both of those go hand in hand, but they're also completely different. This is also a disclaimer. I am not a therapist, but I am here to talk to you guys as like a big sister, or just a person, if we're the same age, just a person to talk to, because I went through this situation in college. I'm done with college now. I'm working on my master's online. So I've dealt with this situation of trying to be social, and it just didn't work out. So also, this is only intended if you are trying your best to get through being an introvert or having social anxiety, because if you're not willing to work on it, then what's the point in you watching this video? So social anxiety, let me go ahead and pull up my phone and read you guys the actual definition of social anxiety. Social anxiety disorder is a chronic mental health condition in which social interactions cause irrational anxiety. And this is straight from Mayo Clinic. We all go to this website when we think we want to self-diagnose ourselves with something. So that's strictly from Mayo Clinic, and some examples include, these are examples in where these are situations where you wouldn't be able to function in those. It gives you anxiety. So meeting new people, talking to coworkers or friends, inviting others to do things, going to social events, examples, parties and dinners, dating, and being assertive, expressing opinions, talking on the phone. And we all know what an introvert is. So between those two, I feel like there is a slight difference. It is a difference. For one is an actual disorder. Let's get that straight. So just a little background on how I feel like I'm able to talk about this whole situation. My freshman year, I decided, I was homeschooled, by the way, for high school. So those 4 years of high school, I was homeschooled. And I went into college my freshman year thinking that I am going to be this outgoing person. I'm going to be the best version of myself. I'm going to be myself, because I was very self-aware around that time, and being homeschooled really got me to find myself and know myself at a young age. But then I quickly lost that part of me in college, and I went back to old ways. So freshman year, I was thinking about being outgoing, all of this stuff. I started out so good, so smooth, and then I just dropped. And I think that me dropping was mainly because, one, the main person that I found myself being able to be myself around left my university. So as you guys know, if you've been on my channel before, then you know that I met my boyfriend like the third day of college, of freshman year, and we have been conjoined since then. And I think it was our second semester, he wasn't able to come back, and because of financial reasons, dealing with his situation, and he just decided not to come back to that university. And since then, it's just been like a trickle down effect. I have just been I haven't been able to be myself around people since he left, and that's mainly because he was the person that was helping me be myself. Like I said, I went into the mindset of being myself, but since I had this other person beside me that was also pushing me to be myself and be outspoken and go to events and just, be a social butterfly, I had him by my side. And then when he left, I felt like I couldn't do that anymore. And then after he left, the whole situation with COVID happened, And that took me back into old habits of not wanting to be social, not wanting to talk to people, all of that stuff, because it's COVID. You can't be around people anyway. When it first started, you couldn't be around people anyway. So after the first year, we went through school. We had to wear masks. We didn't have social events. I didn't have anywhere to be social. I just went to my old habits. So last year, last year, 2021, it got worse. And I was just, every time someone would talk to me, I would freeze up sometimes. One-on-one settings was good. Like, I would be able to talk to you in a one-on-one setting, but as soon as we get around more people, like 2 people show up, now it's 3 people, now it's 4 people, now it's the whole group, I'm not going to be able to talk to you, because it's like, oh wow, there's a lot of people here, there's a lot of people talking, I don't know where to fit myself into the equation, so I'm just going to keep shut. You can call it social anxiety, you can call it being an introvert. I don't know. I just feel like it's a mild case of being of social anxiety, but I'm mainly an introvert. I love to be at home. I'm a homebody, all of that stuff. So that's a little background on me. And since I've actually graduated college, I graduated last month in December 2021. And ever since I graduated, and it's been a new year, one of my goals for this year is to be more social, make new friends, and just, since I'm by myself, that's another thing. I felt like I couldn't show myself to people because it'd be like they don't want to see the weird side of me. I have a dark side, a dark humor. Nobody needs to see that side of me. So that was very hard to be like, does my personality fit the people that I'm around? But that doesn't even matter. Like, you should just be able to be yourself in any situation. It don't matter who you're near. And it doesn't matter if you feel like they won't get you. Just be yourself. So I had a hard time with that as well. But as for this year, since I have been out of college, I've actually been doing well with being myself and being a social butterfly. As y'all can tell, I have been posting more on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I completed Vlogmas last month, 25 videos back to back. I was social. I went out on most of those videos, and I'm just being myself. I'm learning to be myself by myself first, and then I may bring in another person. I may bring in a second person. And it's just a building block, building myself up in that way. So let's get into these tips that I have for you guys, because I don't have many, but these are like very, very helpful tips. And if I had someone pushing me freshman year to do all of this, it would have been so helpful for me. And also, like I said, I didn't have anyone. I just got a mentor last year around September. So, and she's been pushing me so much. This is why I'm turning into the social butterfly that I am. I had sorors that were also able to help me a lot throughout this way. All of these people now have been starting to help me, and they've played a big role in my life. So I want to be that big sister to you guys. If you guys are just starting on your freshman year or whatever, remember these tips, because you're gonna need them. Okay, so the first tip that I have is to just be yourself and don't change your personality for anyone. This is the first one, and it's the most important one I have on my list, because being yourself is going to be the way that you are able to project and be a social butterfly. Because how are you going to talk to people and not be yourself? How are you going to put yourself in a box and not be yourself? So basically, this is the most important one, because you can't just put on a facade and think that it's going to get you somewhere. Because trust me, I have tried it and it has gotten me nowhere. Speaking of facades, I am so shy. I will go to the point of putting on this shy, soft persona that is totally not me. I'm a firecracker. I can blow up at any second if you try me. So people have actually taken that before and used it against me. Like for my career, I talk about this all the time, but I feel like people in my different careers, real estate especially, the broker that I'm under, they don't take me serious because I put on that persona and they think that it's just, I'm just little girl from the Delta that don't know nothing and I'm not going to be a good asset to them and stuff like this. So my phone keeps going off. It's my family. But that's mainly what I wanted to say, because putting on a different persona, a whole nother facade, it does not work. Be yourself. The right people will come to you. It don't matter if you think that being yourself is getting you nowhere, which you should never feel like that. The right people will come to you, and that energy will feel so organic and it will feel so amazing. So just be yourself. Don't change your personality for nobody, especially in college. Nobody. Another thing is join different groups that fit your interests. At my college, I know we had a gaming group. We have a social work club for social work majors. We're starting up like I think a fashion club, which that would have been so good for me because I was a fashion major. I took fashion classes. So, yeah, just join different groups that fit your interests, and by your interests, you'll find people with the same interests, and you guys can probably be friends like that. Especially because in college, they push the idea of group messages, and through those group messages, you can find different people that you can just go to different events to, have fun with, go to the caf with, all of that stuff. Aside from joining a group that fits your interests, do not, and I repeat, do not just go in with the mindset that, oh, I want to be a social butterfly, so this is going to push me to that point. Yes, you want this to help you with being outspoken and open with yourself and not be an introvert, but although you're going into it with this mindset, you also have to do the work as well. Like, you have to push yourself to be outspoken, make friends. I, for one, I know for a fact that I tried to push myself to do a bunch of stuff in college that was too much out of my comfort zone, if that makes sense. And it wasn't necessarily that it was out of my comfort zone and I thought I couldn't do it. It was just something that was not for me, which later backfired on me. This also goes with joining in a group. Don't join a sorority or fraternity just for the friendships that you may get because of that. There are many reasons why you should join a fraternity and a sorority, but make sure you're doing it for the right reasons and not just because you want to make friends. The third one I have on my list is to go to different events, and I have a reminder right here. I'm reading these off of my iPad, by the way, like I always do. So I have a reminder right here. Go to events. Remember that you may have to do some of these things alone until you make friends. If you're a freshman, it may be a little easier to make friends because everybody is looking for one. And I definitely went through this when I was a freshman. My very first class for the semester, the day that classes started and they were open, I went to class and I was the first one there. The teacher wasn't there, the door was locked, and I couldn't get in. So I was just standing in front of the door, and probably like 10 minutes before class started, another girl pulled up and she was like, oh, is this the class that we're supposed to be in? And I was like, yeah. And by then we just had a small conversation with each other before class started, and then more people showed up, and then eventually the teacher showed up, and by then we had grew like a good connection, so we sat beside each other during the class. So yeah, literally just as a freshman, you'll probably see that even if you just do basic things like be social just a little bit, you'll notice that you'll make friends easily. The next thing I have on my list is to hang out on campus and don't be a homebody. This will be easier for you if you are living on campus. I personally only live down the street from my campus, so I commuted every day. I low-key regret that sometimes, but there was no point in me paying for housing when I was down the street and I could just drive there every day. So a great idea for you to hang out on campus would be to hang out at the busiest spot that you know, like that may be the caf. For me, I know that it's what we call the Union. It has the first floor, it has the Chick-fil-A, Firehouse Subs, Starbucks, and then a place called Burrito Bowl. The second layer is like just offices, housing, student affairs, student life, and I think we now have a game room up there, but that they just opened that last month. And then the third section nobody really goes up to. It's like oh, and then the second section also has like an open area for people to sit down, study, talk, socialize. And then the third section, it has a little bit of chairs and stuff up there, but then that's mainly, offices. So that's where mostly everybody goes to hang out at. And then the next thing would probably be the caf, and then the next thing after that would probably be the gym. That's how that goes for us. So if I were trying to be more social and just, hang out at a spot that I knew a lot of people would be at, that would be where I go, the Union. And there were times that I would actually sit there, do my homework, and people would just randomly come up and talk to me or try to get me to join their organization they just started up, or join or just hang out with them for a second. So that's a good way to make friends. The next thing I have is force yourself to talk, and this is better said than done, but it also goes along with being yourself. Like I said, don't force yourself to put on this whole different persona when you talk to different people, but make sure you are at least trying your best to be social. Also, this doesn't have to be just force yourself to talk to someone. You can force yourself to talk in class and you can make a friend that way, just as long as you are trying your best to be outspoken and be heard. Because another thing I dealt with in college was not talking. I would just sit there in situations in class, even though I had something to say or I wanted to say something. I never said anything. I just sat there. Even in discussions, like we would have open discussions in most of my classes, and I would just sit there like I didn't know anything. And eventually people would think that, because I know for a fact I went through this in my class. In most of my classes, it felt like since I had been so quiet and I didn't say anything, every time something needed to be done, I would just be skipped right over. Mind you, I went to a college where the classes were very small and there wasn't like 50 to 100 different students in one class. It was, for my major classes like fashion, it was a good 10 of us, and then for my other classes it was a good like 15, 20. So yeah, just force yourself to talk sometimes. It doesn't have to be all the time. It doesn't have to be like these random times, just as long as you're trying to be social. And the last thing would be to just have fun. College is all about getting your education, but it's also about networking and socializing and having fun. You will be surprised by how many people you can network with in college. I live in a small town in Mississippi, but we had so many people from like all over that had connections to different people. So make sure to socialize and network with different people, because those people that you connect with in college, they can be your lifelong friends or your associates that you will eventually need in the long run. So don't just go and just be all about your education. It's good to be all about your education, don't get me wrong, but learn how to play as much as you work. I watched a couple of lawyer students on YouTube, and although they're like doing study with me videos and going to the library every vlog they do, they also know how to party and at least, you know, like have some fun and release themselves from the stress that they had for the week. So yeah, like I said, I'm still learning this, and I feel like ever since I got out of college, I have been able to do so much more that I felt I couldn't do in college, because I had put on this persona for so long that people actually started thinking it was my personality, and that ain't me, child. If you watching this and you went to college with me, that's the personality that you thought I had, because that ain't it. I feel like this video was all over the place, but at the same time, I feel like I got my point across. I'm hoping I got my point across. Child, I'm gonna blame it on me being an introvert. Whenever I sit down and talk to the camera, it's like, y'all my homeboys, y'all my people. So I just talk about random stuff all over the place. But this video is long enough, I'm pretty sure. So I'm gonna let you guys go. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to subscribe to my other channel. Watch a couple more of these videos if you want to, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.
Listen to me as I